Shiga.
Yes, we are live, Haji.
Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to Dialogue with Herrera. If you're new to this platform, Dialogue with Herrera is a platform created for individuals we call the unsung heroes. Who are the unsung heroes? Unsung heroes are people doing amazing things in their various communities, but maybe because the spotlight isn't on them, so we don't know about them. So we look around, we ask our friends, we go into social media, and sometimes we read their story or we come across them and we bring them to you so we can they can share their story and tell you what inspired them to be who they are. But these are really amazing individual doing great things in various fields and various communities that you may not ever hear from about them, or maybe if you have heard, not many people have heard of them. So we love to share this story so that they can inspire you watching this, so that you can start something also to uplift humanity in your various communities, one person at a time. And today we are having Honorable Ibrahim Zanna Sonomi. If I pronounce it wrong, please correct me. But he's our youngest unsung hero. I think one of our youngest. Last year we featured a young girl as well, and this year we are featuring Honorable Ibrahim. Honorable Ibrahim, welcome to Dialogue with Herrera. So we'd love you to talk to our audience and tell them who you are, and so we can start our conversation. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation to be our guest.
Thank you very much. Actually with you today. To everyone watching, Right Honorable Ibrahim Zanna Sunoma is my name. I am a one-time speaker of the Borno State Children's Parliament, now the Deputy Speaker of the Nigeria National Children's Parliament. I'm a child rights and climate activist and one of the youngest ever TEDx speaker in West Africa. Thank you.
Wow. How old are you again?
14 currently.
14. And you started this. How old were you when you started?
I started advocacy at the age of 9.
What inspired you?
You know,
Especially coming in the area where you came from, where it is stricken. Maybe at the time you started this, that was the middle of Boko Haram, isn't it? So what
yeah, like
inspired you?
have always said, I am a child of circumstance. I was born and raised amid the deadliest insurgency Haram in northeast Nigeria, and just growing up, seeing the harsh conditions, the insurgency we face, which believe me, we could explain the situation we were in at that time. So looking
Mhm.
at experiences, and it raised a lot of thoughts in my head that why is this happening? Where are the people supposed to stop this? Why isn't anyone doing anything? So such thoughts, coupled with horrific experiences, give birth to the modern day Ibrahim, a young boy who actually delved into the art of public speaking with the sole aim of me becoming an amplifier, a voice to the voiceless, a voice to those voices silenced by that conflict at that time. Because I could see how my peers, how and I were oppressed. We all had dreams, but there was no one to speak for us. So it's actually experiences and my thoughts actually inspired me to be in the position where I'm today. And I am very passionate also about amplifying the voices of my peers, because I believe if we didn't speak up, there would be no one to speak for us.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. But I would think that honestly, it's commendable what you have done and what you have accomplished in this very young age. And some of your peers right now, they don't even know where they're at. They may be on the street hawking and all of that. But did someone paved way for you to start this, or you just, can you walk us how you actually started? Because you know what, it's great you done that, but we want people, the whole idea of this is walking people through how you started. Maybe there's a young child out there that is watching you, they'll say, oh my God, is that how he did it? Let me try in my own community as well.
Yeah. So when, like I said earlier, when we had those horrific experiences, wanted my voice to be heard by the world, which by then there was my brother who was my mentor, and he actually was the one who actually suggested that I should start raising my voice on social media, because he believes that social media, is a platform that can take your voice from your community world. So I didn't have any resources at hand by then. I didn't have any upper hand or anything like that. I was just also a young boy who was
A
just
child.
I was really touched by our experience. So started there was it was the time of COVID, but then, so I actually first raised my voice about COVID-19 pandemic, and how like it's affecting children, our stories, our education. So I made a video online, and like God in his infinite mercy, people who would love to child who would actually speak up about things. So God in His infinite mercy, my video went viral. A lot of people saw my video, and I think it was then when I saw the amount of the audiences, the people who are actually happy about what I plan on doing, who people who supported me, people who commented very great things. So it actually gave me a lot of more motivation to actually like find spaces, to find opportunities, really you know um really like talk with leaders, talk with decision makers who are able to make a change, who are able to do something about it. So I started posting videos online. Consistency, I was very consistent. Like I said, social media took my voice to organizations, international organizations, individuals actually who actually shared the same I had, to see that the most vulnerable in our society, which are children, doesn't have to be at the receiving end any type of disasters, of any calamity or something like that. So there was this particular organization, Save the Children International, who actually were a staff of theirs, was actually one of the people who saw my videos online. A couple of friends, to a couple of family members, and they reached out, and they invited me for, there was a roundtable discussion they were doing with some leaders in my community. So they said, this young boy has a lot of important things to say. I think we should give him a space to actually kind of say what he has to say, and for leaders to listen to him. So I actually started from vulnerable. I started from my community. I went to the roundtable discussion. I had a lot of discussion with my community leaders. I started as, maybe I would say, I can even call stage champion now, because it's very difficult for you to scale to, maybe let's say, stages when you are starting out. So I started with social media, which was a tool today. Even children have access to it, so I think it's a very good
Which
platform.
which of the platform did you target on social media? Again, this is important for them to understand. Which one? Now you have TikTok, you have LinkedIn, you have YouTube, you have Facebook, you have, I mean, you guys have more than I can even count, you know. So Instagram on all of that. Which one did you start with, and which one do you think that if someone is starting an advocacy like yours, especially if their target is Nigeria, to talk to other youth or leaders, should be the one they should focus on? I mean, that 5 years ago might be different from what it is today. You have more option and what have you. But it's good to share that as well, if you don't mind.
I started on Instagram actually, and
Okay.
time I think Instagram was a little easier than it was now, and there was no much, maybe let's say, call it competition, but maybe there was. things happening a lot around Instagram. But if I were to give advice now, I won't actually advise for someone to start on Instagram, because I believe it's more of a space where there's a lot of professionals, there's a lot of people who have, maybe let's say better, or maybe let's have like refined information. So but then I started on Instagram. Along the line I reverted to TikTok, which recommend like anyone to start over from TikTok, because I believe there's much of maybe local audiences, people in your community there. There's a lot of more audience than Instagram, and maybe I can, even the algorithm itself, it's easier to start on TikTok rather than come into places like Instagram, like YouTube. But personally started on Instagram, and when I saw traffic on Instagram, I actually reverted also to TikTok, which came and maybe surpassed my Instagram following and stuff. So I would recommend TikTok for a start, but I used Instagram. And what actually made the video I made stand out was also the video was also part of like a movement like done by some organization. It was a movement. They actually kind of challenged children in communities who were passionate about speaking up, to speak up on things like insurgency, things like pandemic. So when I joined the movement, was already traffic to the movement, so it was easier for me to get recognized and stuff. But I started out on Instagram. Later I transitioned to TikTok also, but I'm currently on, I think, YouTube, Instagram. So I do a lot of different platforms, and I always tend to expand audience.
That's wonderful. So it's and also, did you use such, because the first thing, you got your brother to introduce you, to give you confidence, which is very important. People that are watching, young people need a mentor. They need mentors. They need someone in the family that they can trust, that can encourage them, can tell them they are good, and if they're not good, critique them in a positive way, that you're actually educating them on how to do better. Don't shut them out, shut them down. Because we have a culture where you are like a young man like Honorable Ibrahim, maybe if he was good, you don't have any shame. You're going to go and speak in front of elders, this and that. So I think that family, especially in our traditional setting, you are more of the elite, of course, family, but we have also young people that have inspiration like you, but they are in the local communities, that whereby having to look at an elder to even speak is not a no-no. So I think that people should, if you recognize a young man has God-given talent of either speaking or making things or doing something, that they want to express themselves, please be a mentor, that you can actually encourage them and try and open ways for them, so that guide them, because they're bound to make mistakes, because they are not really as exposed as you have been. So you were lucky to have that, your brother, and then after that, it was a time that everything was being focused on, and you tagged maybe a huge movement, and they picked on, and voila, your video went viral, and then you went from there. But at the same time, it's coincidence, and God will is also part of it. But you shouldn't reduce your tenacity, because you went after that, you thought of it, you did it. And I know it's not easy to be that young and be in TikTok, and maybe some people put rude comment, say things to you, but you stayed strong. Talk about that aspect of it too, because people sometimes see people have this following, they have all this, that they think you got it just like that. But I'm sure, must be, probably, maybe not you, but probably there's a time you put a video and somebody says something, and you feel like you go home, you're like, oh my God, I'm not going to go because they don't even like me. Have you ever had that experience, or you never had to deal with that?
I would just love to actually respond to the first comment you made about starting out, people, the tradition, our culture, they naturally like a dictum where, when growing up, you are not supposed to even speak when your elders has children in, you know, the traditional setting and stuff. So it is really actually very hard to navigate through things like that. But there's this popular saying I love, uh, an African saying that it says, when a child washes his hands, he can eat with the elders. And I think that's one of the role we have to play as maybe even children ourselves, because at first you need to actually in saying wash your hands, think you speak and how people think of maybe your intellectual let's say intellectual acumen by then, because it is said that, you know, children cannot see and stuff like that. But if you actually have a passion for something, you develop a lot of knowledge about it. You come from like where if you speak, and you know, you even the elders will try to reason with what you say, because it depends where you are coming from. For me, it was easy because I came from things like experience. People in my community also experience this hard reality. So maybe even the elders by then they needed someone to actually raise their own voices too, you know. So it was much more easier for me to navigate. And I had let me say, I worked on a lot of things. I worked on what to say. I worked on how traditional people, our leaders, our elders in the community. So I think it's more of understanding the context, and you know, understanding where you come from. And actually have a conversation with an elder as a child, and they already think that, okay, this boy, this girl is grown up already. So you need to really be able to connect with them, actually have a sense of understanding, you know, you like be liked in your liked in your setting. Also, you know, have this, I would say, this open mindset. And if you have that, it will be more easier to navigate these things. But I they're always available. Life is always, maybe if you have journeys like this, there will always be challenges, especially,
Yeah.
and you know, too, a lot of people want to speak up here, but people would discourage them. Comments, like you said, head comments, even threats. I have faced those ones before. There was a time I posted a video about a particular issue. It was a little bit of a controversial issue about, you know, this early child marriage, these girls, and you know, this it had to do with a lot of, you know, tradition. It had to do with a lot of culture, and people were like, I didn't have that sense of, maybe I would say, morals and
Yeah.
values to act, you know, to elders. I don't, you know, I don't feel a certain, I would say, respect or something like. There will be a lot of comments. People will actually even up what you are doing. People will try to bring you down. But the most important part of it is always being strong. And as a child, it is a lot difficult to do that. That's why I always encourage people to have, like you said, mentors, to have people behind them, to have adults, to have elders, you know, who actually in support of what they do, who will actually give you the needed boost, the motivation you need, especially when you face this type of challenge. So you
Yeah.
actually need experience, people who will guide you, people who will mentor you. So I think the line, like I said, my brother was part of them, and my family came to understood my. So they were like, I would say, the foundation, the background, or like what I did, because whenever I felt like I did, there's need to stop this, where you always need to speak to people, you always need to seek advice from people, you always have to have mentors, people you look up to, because you don't have those people, it will be very difficult for you to throw by, you know, you have to look for motivation, for encouragement. I think that this is what kept me going, and today I'm at a point where, yeah, I have experience, and I can see things, and I, you know, this trying to bring you down, and you need to be strong. And yeah, things
Yeah, they are very important. Yeah, exactly. And having that cushion is always great when starting. And even if you, again, you also grow there, it comes in different stages. So you do speak you do like more of a dialogue and a community within your, you started within your community, then you started extending into, did you do schools? or you just did more on with policymakers and also like go into NGOs and or focal groups? Who are mostly your target audience that you want them to hear what you have to say, and how easy was it to break through doing that?
Starting out, I would say my target point, like my target was for people in my, like you said, in my schools, in my communities, to actually listen to what you have to say, because I believe people around you, people in your community, since you are speaking about your community, since you want to share community to the world, you need to actually have this sense of, let's say, understanding among people around you, in your community, in your state, in your region, and stuff like that. So I actually started out from, I started out from my school, and then I expanded to some schools around my community. There was setbacks, there was challenges I have faced by then. I started doing things more or less in my community, but then or like where I am today, where I speak to mostly policymakers, to leaders, to maybe organizations, to people maybe who are directly in a position to make a change, to impact something. I think it was more easy for me to transition into that, because I already had like support, from people around me, people in my community. So it was more or less my own personal thought to actually kind of reach out to people like the policymakers, who were the ones who actually reached out to me by then. So, and I then garnered this sense of what will like understanding. I came to reason that maybe speaking to these policymakers, speaking to these leaders, it's more of I would say it's more of having more influence than actually speaking to people in your community. When you speak to them directly, when you show them that you are doing this thing for us, we need to also have our own saying among what you are doing. So there is more tendency for them to actually listen, for them to actually take action, and for you to bring like this impact. But I
Yeah.
believe you cannot do that without actually starting, like I said, from vulnerable. So I always
Mhm.
believe, like, you have to start with the grassroots. You need to gather experiences, you need to gather thoughts. I see, street children around me. I speak with them, we have discussions with them, where it's really there are some peculiar challenges that people in grassroots communities face. And I just wanted to bring that nearer to policymakers, to to leaders themselves, because when leaders take decisions, it's more some the big men sitting in high offices miles away, from our homes and schools. They claim to understand what we are going through, and then they just make decisions for us. So
Yeah.
I experiences from the community to these policymakers, and I think it's one of my unique points, or I would say my one of my strongest points, because people want to listen to actually what is going on from the grassroots level. I think it's tackle challenges by listening to actually what is really affecting people. Try to target policy leaders unless you actually have a sense of understanding. You need to target people in your community who
Hmm.
have
Hmm.
knowledge of it, have an experience of it, before you actually reach out to policymakers. And it is very, very, very difficult to reach out to these people. People that are set on this pedestal, like you cannot
That is
actually.
that is my next question. How do you get to reach out to these people? Because even at us as an adult, you barely can reach them. They have like literally so many layers of layers and layers and layers in order to get there. And even if you get there, it's not guaranteed that you're able to hold a meeting. So how are you able to navigate that?
Personally, I wouldn't say I have faced many challenges regarding that, because, like I said, these leaders on that, like we see these people, this maybe our governments, even organizations, mostly they are on social media. They know what is going. They see what people are doing, and they gather some information from there. So one of if I can even call it luck or something, one of my the ways of actually reaching out to these people is because was this like I said, an NGO, an international NGO, who actually does their work for like the welfare of children. Save the Children International, they work for children. Children should be, at the forefront of discussions regarding, issues of children. So when they actually saw what I was doing, they actually gave us a platform. They
Yes.
which Borno State Children's Parliament, like I said, I was the speaker at the Borno State Children's Parliament. So what they did was they were trying to like reactivate the state children's parliament, and I believe in every constitution, in it's recognized something by the government in most states, in most countries. There's things like children's parliament, but the issue we're having, they are not strong, they are not existing. Nobody has thought about them in years. So what they did was they actually came, they actually like revived the children parliament in my state, Borno State, which was due to, like I said, people at that time saw Borno State like as the Afghanistan of Nigeria. There was a lot of things.
That's a funny. It's not funny too, but the way you said it is like, okay, yeah, I get you. Yeah, nobody wants to go. Even the people from Borno, they were running to other. I mean, who will blame them? You were not safe. So yeah, that, and I think that you bringing out the real picture of what children are going through, I think obviously. I'm sure had touched so many people, even if the leaders. So social media, honestly can either can make you or break you. So it depends on what you want to sell up there. There are some people that especially with this TikTok, and I have to tell you, Honorable Ibrahim, I pray that young people or even adults in Nigeria, especially our part of the country, the northern part of Nigeria, some of the videos I see are repulsive. So it's like they need to see what you're doing. It's like you don't have to shake your body. You don't have to try and speak vulgar. You don't have to try and bring down other people in order to just to because you want ratings and what have you. And honestly, that is what our dialogue is about: is trying to bring the kinds of you that and I am still stuck in the Nigeria of 30 something years ago, because that was when I left Nigeria to school in the US. So at that time, people were nice. They were there's humanity then. There's people respect. There's kindness. There's nothing like what I see now. I don't even recognize the northern Nigeria when I see what is happening on TikTok. And I think that I'm sure you are just a pleasant sight, even for the politicians to see that there's some young men like you. You talk eloquently, you have a point, and you are not afraid to speak up. And which is really very rare. You not. It's not about luck. It's not about timing. You're just naturally gifted, and you should be very grateful, because not everybody have that kind of gift. So you must be gifted to be able to do that. This is all from above. It's not a man-made. But it came from above to the right person. So I'll have to thank God. So while you are doing this, I'm sure, let's say some young people see this video and they're very impressed, or they see many of your videos on TikTok. Do you have like a platform whereby you are also mentoring other young kids that don't have mentors but want to be like you?
In my whole journey on social media, and I just want to comment on what you said earlier about TikTok not being like, maybe let's say Nigeria as a whole not being what we were like 30 years ago, as you said. I believe today, yeah, we are no longer what we are, and what is happening today is not part of it's not part of the stories our grandmothers used to tell us about our country and stuff. But
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why I actually was actually like loving TikTok, because you see, when I believe I'm a type of person that was raised to believe like whenever there is danger, there's also opportunity. I think it also comes with an opportunity for us to like re-engineer our society, to re-engineer our behavior to into a better place, to become better people. Because when TikTok, currently TikTok is more of like an entertainment platform. You just come, you if you do things for your fun, for entertainment, people will know you. But then when you scroll on your feed and you see like you see young who actually does things very different to what TikTok is known for. This is a person who speaks about issues that connects deeply with almost everybody. So you see, it's more of there's more of attention. It's more of like a safe space, I would call it. It's more of like a place where you see someone get inspired, and you also get motivated to believe that okay, I can do good things, and also have, like you said, the ratings, the things everybody wants on platforms like this. So like you said, on my journey there was a lot of people who actually were inspired. They were motivated by what I was doing. And I the bottom line was, even what the reason I started all this is because for people to also get inspired, for people to also be able to like come together, and also for like they said, two voices are always better than one. So
Mm-hmm.
it's something that gives me pleasure to see people like this. But like you said, they want to become people. They want to do what you are doing, have opportunities you are having. And I personally believe that the opportunities I had, it's not like there are people who are not me as talented I am today, or as me as eloquent as I am. There are people better than me, and if you give them the opportunity, they can do better. So I believe it's more or less, you need to carry people along, you need to mentor people, you need to actually guide people to also have opportunities to also raise their voices. And I personally have struggled with that, because there's a lot of there's some things when you do with people, some don't see the, maybe let's say, the good side of it. Some see, maybe they say, okay, this doing this not because he wants to inspire people or mentor, doing maybe for, let's say, financial or something like this. So recently I actually launched my own organization. It's non-governmental. It's called Action with Sunoma. So it's like a child-led initiative where we come together actually to amplify our voices. We come together to make projects, and to actually reach people in our community. But what I did, I emphasized that it has to be child-led. Children needs to be at the forefront of this. So I believe more or less like a platform which I envision it in one of now, to become like maybe one of the greatest movements when it comes, if you want to reach children, reach people who have the same like passion as me, who people who are inspired by what I, and so far I've carried a lot of people along, a lot of my peers, my mates who were inspired by me. And we plan on doing mentorship programs, plan on doing uh projects, we plan on doing workshops, training also children to not just be raise their voices, but also know about the current issues we face, and how to navigate issues and stuff like this. So I believe I am more of on the right track regarding the mentorship, regarding the guidance. So, and but so far this is what I have on ground, and I plan on making this a very very strong movement, so children can come and get inspired by it.
Yeah, I think that is wonderful. That is an excellent idea, especially with the social media space, WhatsApp platforms. You can work or hold group discussions, Zoom. All those things are now areas that you can actually reach as many kids across the country, even if you want to. Because if you just need to find one person that knows you, say, okay, he has this, and then that other state that knows someone, and before you know it, you have a network. But yeah, that is a very good way to engage them as well. Because if you start that and you're already engaging a lot of young people in your community, and that is already a way to create a whole new breed of the serious-minded young people that know they are right, and hopefully in the next 10 years we will produce, leaders. At that time you have finished, you graduated, you have finished your NYSC. Hopefully you are, who knows, are you even going to the, probably before you know, you are not even going, you go straight to the assembly. Do you see yourself in the future being a politician or running for a government office?
I would say personally growing up, politics wasn't really something I was inspired by, because we were, we when we had those horrific experiences, we were always, not very negative about, politics and things like that, and we see, maybe as politics not being our maybe strong suit. So politics doesn't really hold much importance. But then personally, actually doing advocacy, speaking up, for people, I always it just came to me that I always want to, be in a position where I can directly, be of impact, where I can directly be of help to these people I'm advocating. So I think politics is more or less whether I am interested or not, is more or less a calling for me, because looking at the aspect of maybe the work I do. So politics is more or less for me like a space to actually directly impact the people I'm speaking up for. I'm currently speaking, to politicians. I'm speaking to policymakers. What if I was the policymaker? I would listen to other children who did, who are doing things like me, and I will actually take action, which is what we hope for and advocate for today. So I believe I see myself maybe in a political position years from now, but I believe it's a more or less a calling rather than actually me being inspired by it.
Yeah. Well, the only way you can actually make the change is being one of the change makers, right, or the policy makers. So probably you being there, hopefully by the time you get there, your organization had created many of the Honorable Ibrahim. So that way you will, across every state, there will be one that is going to be with the same vision, the same drive. It's, you are multiplying it. If you look at it that way, actually, you know what, it's very promising. Because at the time that you guys are ready to be leaders, then there will be a whole different mindset of leadership. Because what you're doing now, it's not just about even trying to make an impact alone for just a personal reason, but because you have so much empathy, you're also thinking broader. So for that, I love the idea that you have an NGO that will be focusing only on young people, and I think that is how we can create as many. Probably what I will advise you to is look into making it different chapters, so that when you have the like minds and you have them in different chapters all over the country, then you will, by the time that you guys are ready, you have actually brought up a whole new breed of leaders with knowledge, empathy, and drive for change. And hopefully the nation will have better politicians, because being a politician is not a bad thing. It's just that few bad ones had made it look bad. People that have been voted to go in, they forget that they've been sent by their people to work for their people. They think that the people are working for them. That is like the mess up thing. You are voted in to go and represent me, but when you get there, no. It's like it's honestly, it's not funny, it's sad. And only because maybe people are not aware of their importance as an electorate. people that do elect the people. If the people, I think also what you need to do to really get your policy, to get what you want, especially you're dealing with children, parents most of the time do what their children want them to do. Because there's something, sometimes I don't like certain food, I don't like certain movie, but because my kids constantly want it, I end up saying, let me taste it today. And then when I taste it, I fall in love with it. So I think doing that and having those young people thinking positively and going home to educate their parents, especially non-educated parents that think that voting, getting a wrapper and a bag of rice and a cube of Maggi and voting for someone without understanding their policy, what they're going to do for them, is what election is all about. But if you are able, through your organization, educate a lot of young people that can go home and teach their parents the importance of voting for a good leader, that will make also your advocacy easier, because it's not just talking to the politicians that is going to make the change. The change start from within the house, and change start with the mothers, then the father, and of course, but most, if you look around, the children actually, most of the time, parents do what they want. A lot of the things that they do to please their children. So you got something going here. Honestly, I think it's I pray your organization succeed, and you are able to get the right people to help you build it, and the right kind of mindset of young people as well to help you succeed in it. I definitely see you going to be some incredible leader, and I pray that you get the support, so that we are yearning for good leadership. We're yearning for leaders with empathy, and I think if we have people that a lot humanitarian before they get into politics, will help in how they rule. And I mean, not how they lead. I would say, if you have a heart, I think no matter how selfish, because I learned that if you they might be good, but when they get into that office, they change. But if you were really, really good to begin with, when you go in, even if you're going to be changed, it's not going to be 100%. Maybe it would be 25% bad, and the 75% is still good. So, and if you, I love the idea. So let's do this. You got yourself, you had a vision. You started doing this out of circumstances, which many unsung heroes do that. Everybody, they do that because something drives them crazy, that they feel like, I have to do this. I would tell you, mine, for why I do Dialogue with Khuraira, is because I felt that the North, especially the North, don't have any voice to tell that we have amazing people like many of you that are smart, that are hardworking, they are, that are out there, many of them that we don't know. Then from there, it grew to like, now I have people coming from all over the country. Now I have people coming from even Cameroon, Ghana, Sudan, different that, that are talking about their so it's that is what drove me crazy. So you got upset because you didn't have someone that was speaking for you guys during the pandemic, and also with the fact that Boko Haram and all of those things, the residue of that too. And you got a support from your good brother, and then you started from your community. But you said something in a saying, an African saying, and I think I will just explain to people what it's initially, I think it is. You are only taken for who you are, how you carried yourself to begin with. Is that what that you were trying to say? So you obviously carry yourself very well, and you're respectful. when you speak, not that in arrogance. You speak to as a communication for you, for our elders to hear you and guide you, and that what took you far. But when you say you come because you know you have a gift of, there's some people when they know they have a gift, the humility is thrown out. They are no longer humble, especially being international superstar, going to all these African countries to, you change and I think that is also already a recipe for disaster for a lot of young people. So what would you say to people like that? What would you caution young people? Because fame is very dangerous, especially when you are young and you get that quick fame and you feel like, oh my God, I'm bigger than life and people are writing about me and all of that. So what would you say to young people that want to be like you and then also instantly get that recognition, like how you got that international NGO just picked up your story? What do you advise young people when that happened to them?
I will actually agree with you, and about fame, as like you said, it's very hating even for adults, talk less of talking about children and stuff. But I believe it's always important, and my advice will be to always remember where you came from. Remember, maybe you were once vulnerable. Remember why you started this. And especially, if around my friends, maybe let's say my peers, people who are not mostly maybe passionate about what I do, or like I say not yet inspired, they people know you. You should do this differently now. You're a big person. A lot of people know you. You have to do this differently. Why are you doing this together? But then when I sit back and always reflect on the position I came from, on why I started this. I started this as also a vulnerable. I was a person who I was actually. If I was young and I saw somebody who was also doing this, my peer, I'll also be inspired and I would love to be mentored by them. So actually putting like myself in their own shoes, and remembering like where you came from, it will always like make you feel a sense of guilt when you are trying to actually maybe let me say feel above people who are actually the reason you started what you are doing. So I would advise always like remember the background, always remember how they started, are also vulnerable. And I believe today is the way of how people actually put like fame on, like way people talk about fame. People always see fame as just okay, now I have made it and I need to brag about to people. I need to show people we're not. But I think fame is the advantage of being famous is also people who love what you do, always having people who will listen to you when you tell them something. They will listen because they believe okay, this is experience, has gone to places maybe I've not gone to. I need to listen to them. So I believe fame gives you more of an opportunity to connect with people rather than go people maybe you're above them. So if you always have this mind of remembering where you are from, always have the mindset of actually fame is not about like what you have said. Fame is about connecting with people. Fame is about you know being together with people. Fame is about having a lot of network and carrying people along. So and I believe this will help, because if I were to actually say I took maybe let me see fame as the path a lot of people follow, I will not be here today, because people will just see what you are doing like irrelevant. They will just see like now okay, he's done with what he's doing, he's just famous, and that's now he doesn't care about other people. But looking at my unique point, looking at why I believe even leaders, why I believe policymakers, they listen to me, because I speak what the people want. I speak from the heart of people. I speak from experience. Now if you don't connect with people like this, then what's the point of even leaders listening to you? So you always remember okay, oh, this is the reason I'm doing this. And yeah, you always try to control whatever fame you have. So I believe looking at the advantage, its disadvantage, looking at maybe the path you want to follow, and if you try to follow maybe the wrong path without guidance, without mentorship, you will always it's like you said, a recipe for disaster. You are always setting yourself up to fail. So I would advise people to actually always the opportunity, use the fame, use the network they have, not to actually show people they have the network, but actually to connect with those people, to listen to those people, and to actually carry them along.
Very good advice. Very good advice. What would you say is of all the things that you've done with a policymaker, what is your proudest achievement in engaging them?
When I was a speaker at the Borno State Children's Parliament, there was the Child Rights Act, which was a law about the rights of children. Children need to be protected. We now call it the Child Protection Law here in my state. But when we saw the Child Rights Act, and when you say Child Rights Act in northern states, when you say Child Rights Act in the northern part of Nigeria, people see it as something that goes against our tradition. So you're saying a child can take his parents to court or stuff like this. So they know. But when we were part of the Children's Parliament, actually, the like I said, organized tried to actually show us that these laws, these acts are there for the protection of children, with proper proper domestication, with proper amendment. You will see that these laws would be there to protect rights, the welfare of children. These laws are there to ensure that children learn, children survive, children are protected, and they thrive. So we actually, I one of my proudest moments was actually taking up the Child Rights Act. We did a lot of advocacy regarding that. We went to different ministries, we went to different spoke up, we went to organizations, we put a lot of pressure. We go to radio programs, speak to communities. This thing is something we are all supposed like come together to actually advocate for the domestication signing of this act. So they were the pressure was too much that our government, they had to actually come together, be able, our ministry was in a support of what we did. So we together, they reviewed the Child Rights Act. I was personally part of the committee that did the review to actually, be bring the voices of children part of, this thing is for children, so somebody needs to actually, they are the ones that said they need this. So policymakers, our governments, they sat down, we reviewed the document, and today, God in His infinite mercy, the Child Rights Act has been signed and domesticated in my state, and I working on the implementation of the document, and I am also part of the implementation committee. So it's something I'm very proud of, something I believe if this thing is fully implemented, I would always, if I see children having to learn, children are protected, I will always see that I was part of this movement, and I believe I have contributed a lot to that. So it's one of my proudest moments to say.
Oh, and this is I'm proud for you. And you, that's not just you. I'm proud for you. That's, yeah. Child Act. It's protecting the child of the right of the child, and it doesn't mean that the child should disrespect a parent, take the parent to court. The parent should not even be doing something that will make the child to take them to court. That is what the protection is. If the parent understand the right of the child, just because you born a child doesn't mean that the child is a slave, or the child has a mind. The child has uh, their own individuality. You people just we well, I'm sure a lot of people have changed now. It's not like it used to be, but still there are communities that don't understand that the child actually has feelings, has their own mind. They think that everything the parents say, things must be done. But I'm sure a lot of educated parents though have to sit down and talk to their kids, and sometimes you argue into but you guide them as a parent and say, listen, I understand, smarty, that you know all of that. I'm very proud of you, but I am a parent. I feel this is what you should do best. And children, that you even raise them right and listen to them is important as parents, to listen to their children and talk to them. Doesn't mean that you have to be educated. You know, my Aunt Zainab that raised me, she was not educated at all, but I always I had a very independent mind, and when I needed to do things, I would say, I don't want to eat this, I don't want to wear it, I don't want this, I don't. She would, if she doesn't want me to, she's not going to give it to me. She nicely explained why I can't. She always have some stories behind, well, if I don't do this and that. Sometimes she gives in, sometimes she says no. And I honestly, now that I'm an adult and I have my own children, I hear her with me arguing at the time when I'm dealing with my kids issues too. I hear how I was arguing, how she explained it to me. And I think if she was shutting me down, telling me this, you can't do this again, it's not nice. I won't be the person I am today, because I think one's upbringing has a lot to do with one's personality, be it confidence, be it empathy, be it even like you said, how you carry yourself out there, that people get drawn to you. It all starts from home, and who starts it is the parents. So even if they are not educated, I think children have the right to be loved, have the right to be respected, to be listened to, of course, to be guided when they're going astray. But majority of the reason why a lot of the children are what they are today is because they never got anybody to listen to them. So they then go outside looking for someone to listen to them, and they fall into the wrong hands. So, but this is wonderful, and I will be following your story. And God willing, if you finish with your NGO, everything I've started, you are more than welcome to come back again so you can share your journey. And we would love to actually, we have a platform whereby we are in the whole 19 northern state, including FCT. So, and we have a lot of mostly my age, and they're younger people too. But if you ever start that organization, let us, and it's functional, let us know. It will share it so that people can also, their children can reach out to you, because the platform we have are people already doing charitable work. So as you know, if they're doing charitable work, they already have children that have the same kind of, so it would make it easier for you to have maybe some people in different part of the country that can be part of your movement. So congratulations with all your achievement. May God Almighty continue helping you, uplifting you, and please keep us posted and leave your information so that when they repost your video, because we usually do like little 2-minute clips of our interview, so you will be getting those clips as well. You can share them on your network or your TikTok, but we want to have those, like all your contact, this way it can be posted with your video so people can reach out to you directly. Okay, thank you so much, and all the best. All right, thank you. I can hear you. I couldn't hear you. Hello?
I said I am honored to be.
Thank you. Thank you. We're very honored as well. Well, everybody, you've heard our first guest of 2025, Honorable Ibrahim Zanna Sunoma, a very smart individual and charismatic and well-spoken. And please, parents, if you're watching this video, we will have his information on our Facebook platform. You can reach out, your kids can reach out to him. We want to see many of the Honorable Ibrahim in the future. So thank you, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.